Over the last few weeks, I've made a couple of videos reacting to some predictions that I made before the season to kind of see how they aged, and I figured today, why not keep that trend going by looking back at my bold predictions that I made for the 2024-25 NHL season. Little spoiler alert, we didn't do so great, but hey, these were meant to be bold predictions. I didn't expect to get too many of these right, and I don't want to be the only one roasting myself in this video for how some of my bold predictions aged, so let me know down below in the comments, what is a hot take or a bold prediction that you had coming into the season that aged very poorly. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and start off with the first bold prediction. Every year when I make these bold prediction videos heading into the season, I always make sure to have at least one Red Wings prediction. The one that I made for the 2023-24 season was that they would have a top 10 power play, and I actually got that one right. But unfortunately, this season, our Red Wings bold prediction did not come to fruition. As I said, Lucas Raymond would become the first Red Wing since Pavel Datsyuk in 2009 to score 90 plus points in a season. Even though we got this one wrong, I don't feel too bad about it. We were definitely on the right track. Raymond had a fantastic season, setting a new career high in points with 80, and he was actually on pace to score 90 points quite a ways into the season, but he definitely slowed down a little bit the last few months of the season, like pretty much everyone else in the Red Wings did. So even though this season Lucas Raymond wasn't able to become the first Red Wing since Pavel Datsyuk in 2009 to score 90 points in a season, I'm still fairly confident that he is going to be the next Red Wing to do it, whether it's next season or a few years from now. If I degrade this bold prediction, I'm going to give it a B+. Moving on now to the next bold prediction that I made coming into the season, I said that Patrik Laine would reach the 40 goal mark for the first time since his sophomore season with Winnipeg. So we got this one wrong too, but it's another one that I don't feel too bad about. Obviously, the injury he sustained in the preseason kind of killed any chances he had at scoring 40 plus goals in his first season with Montreal. But even if Laine never got injured in the preseason and he had played in all 82 games, he probably still wouldn't have reached the 40 goal mark, just going off of the pace he scored at in the 52 games he did play. All in all, I think it was a positive first season for Patrik Laine in Montreal. I know he left a lot to be desired in terms of his 5-on-5 play, and a lot of his goals and points came with the man advantage. But at the end of the day, this is a guy who was coming off of a season in which he only appeared in 18 games with the Blue Jackets, and again, obviously missed a big chunk of the first half of the season with the Canadiens due to the knee injury he sustained in the preseason. So with that in mind, I think 20 goals in 52 games, which is over a 30 goal pace, is pretty damn solid for his first season with the Canadiens, even if very few of those goals came at even strength. We'll go ahead and give this bold prediction a B-. Moving on now to the next bold prediction that I made coming into the season. This is definitely the worst one that we're going to talk about in the entire video. I said that the Vegas Golden Knights would miss the playoffs. There's no sugarcoating this one. This bold prediction gets an F, as the Vegas Golden Knights not only made the playoffs, but they finished first place in the Pacific Division and second place in the entire Western Conference. I wasn't very high on Vegas coming into the season. I thought that they lost a lot of depth last offseason with guys like Marchessault, Stevenson, Carrier, and Amadio all leaving in free agency. But as it turned out, the Golden Knights didn't really end up missing any of those guys, and depth scoring really wasn't an issue for them this season thanks to players like Pavel Dorofeyev and Brett Howden setting new career highs in goals, and guys that they brought in on cheap one-year deals like Brendan Saad, Victor Olofsson, and Tanner Pearson also gave them some pretty solid production in the bottom six. The other big concern I had when it came to the Golden Knights coming into the season was their goaltending situation. Even though Adin Hill had been very good for Vegas over the last few seasons and was obviously a huge part in their Stanley Cup win in 2023, he's somebody who, heading into the season, never really had to carry a massive workload in a season. The most games he's played in a season prior to this one was 35, so I figured there was a chance that he may struggle a little bit now that he didn't have the luxury of sharing the net with somebody like Logan Thompson, and I thought if that happened, would Vegas be able to rely on Ilya Samsonov, who they brought in as the backup, to give them quality starts, considering the fact that he was coming off of a brutal season with the Maple Leafs? But as we know now, Adin Hill did just fine in his first full season as a starter, appearing in 50 games and finishing the season with a 2.47 goals against average, a .906 save percentage, and a goal saved above expected over 11. Moving on now to the the next bold prediction that I made heading into the season, I said that Utah would make the playoffs in their first season after relocating from Arizona. So this is yet another one that we got wrong. We are 0 for 4 so far. I actually felt pretty good about this. The first few weeks of the season, Utah started off really hot, but they just weren't able to find that consistency throughout the season, and they ended up finishing 7 points back of St. Louis for that second wildcard spot in the Western Conference. This is yet another one where I don't feel like we were too far off. It's not like they missed the playoffs by a whole lot. They still finished the season 7 games over 500. Definitely still lots to like about this team, and reason to be optimistic if you're a Utah fan heading into next season. We saw a lot of growth from their important young core players like Logan Cooley and Dylan Gunther, who both finished with 60 plus points, and really for the most part, all of Utah's top of the lineup players had very strong seasons, as Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, and Barrett Hayton all set new career highs in points, and Mikhail Sergachev was an absolute beast for them on the back end in his first season with the team, averaging over 25 minutes of ice time per game. But outside of the names I just mentioned, offense was pretty hard to come by for this team. Guys like Michelli, Krause, Carconi, and Bugstad all took pretty sizable steps back, and Josh Doan didn't really have the big rookie season that a lot of people were expecting him to. I definitely think if this team is going to take that next step and make the playoffs next season, they need to add some offensive firepower this offseason to take some pressure off of guys like Clayton Keller. And similar to how this front office was very aggressive last offseason in reshaping the blue line by bringing in guys like Sergachev, Marino, and Ian Cole, I'm expecting them to be just as, if not more aggressive this offseason and looking to add some scoring punch. They still have a ton of draft picks that they can use as trade bait, and obviously no shortage of cap space as to where they can put together strong offers for a lot of the top free agents as well. I really believe this new ownership group wants to get this Utah team to the playoffs as soon as possible. And before I forget, if I had to grade this bold prediction before I move on to the next one, I guess we'll go with a C+. Moving on now to the next bold prediction that I made coming into the season, I said that Sheldon Keefe would win the Jack Adams Award as the league's Coach of the Year in his first season as head coach of the New Jersey Devils, which now puts us at 0-5 on these bold predictions. My thought process with this one was pretty simple. It feels like every year the head coach of the team that has the biggest season-to-season improvement is always in the conversation for the Jack Adams Award. And after the Devils were one of the best teams in the league in the 2022-23 season, finishing with 112 points during the regular season, the following season was obviously a disaster, as the Devils finished with just 81 points during the 2023-24 season, missing the playoffs, which felt like an outlier season. I figured there was no way the Devils would be that bad again this season, especially after the moves they made last offseason, bringing in guys like Brendan Dillon and Brett Pesce on the back end, and solidifying the goaltending position by trading for Jacob Markstrom. And I guess in a sense, I was right. They did get back into the playoffs this season, but they still didn't have a great year. They only finished with 91 points. They were bounced in the first round relatively easily by the Carolina Hurricanes, whereas this season I thought the Devils would look a lot more like that team that was in contention for the President's Trophy back in 2023, which obviously just didn't happen. So if I had to grade this bold prediction, I'm going to go with a D, as Sheldon Keefe wasn't really anywhere close to being a Jack Adams candidate. And now finally, finishing up the video, looking at the last bold prediction that I made heading into the season. Can we break the goose egg? Did we get one right at least? The answer to that is yes, we actually did. My final bold prediction from this video was that Pierre-Luc Dubois sets a new career high in points in his first season with the Capitals. And that is exactly what he did, finishing with 66 points in 82 games. And funny enough, this is actually the bold prediction from that video that I feel like I got the most heat for in the comments. I mean, just read this one. The only new career high Dubois is breaking is how many off-ice issues he brings to a team. So it is kind of funny that it turned out to be the only one I got right from the entire video. My reasoning for expecting Pierre-Luc Dubois to have a big bounce-back season in his first year with the Washington Capitals was just that I figured he would come into the season with a huge chip on his shoulder and with a lot to prove after what was just a disastrous single season with the LA Kings, a season in which he finished with the lowest points per game he ever finished a season with in his career. There was times throughout the season where he was publicly called out by then LA Kings head coach Todd McClellan. So I figured if there was anybody who was just itching to make the most out of a fresh start and a new opportunity, it was Pierre-Luc Dubois, and that is exactly what happened. He was very good this season for the Washington Capitals. Not only did he set a new career high in points with 66, but he was also solid defensively, which is an aspect of his game that was often criticized throughout his career. Now, even still, is he an $8.5 million player? I think it's debatable. If he can continue to produce for the Washington Capitals like he did this past season throughout the majority of this contract, especially with the cap going up, I don't think they're going to have any complaints. Seeing as this is the only bold prediction from this video that I actually got right, if I had to grade this one, I'm going to go ahead and give it an A+. So that is going to wrap up today's video reacting to my bold predictions that I made coming into this NHL season. And like I mentioned at the start of the video, I don't want to be the only one roasting myself here, so let me know down below in the comments what are some hot takes or bold predictions that you had coming into the season that aged very poorly. And if you made it all this way to the end of the video and you ended up enjoying yourself, please remember to leave a like. It's the best way to let me know that you enjoyed, and it does actually help out the videos a ton. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this all year round, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all again soon.